Hey Stingers, this is your teacher Miss Sims. I decided to shoot you another video on multiplying decimal. Well, today one of the lessons is going to be multiplying decimal by powers of 10 using a place value chart. Multiplying decimal by a whole number using grid. Multiplying a decimal by decimal using grids. And also I'm going to do you a quick lesson on multiplying decimal by whole number using place value blocks. Alright, so let's begin. Here we have 24 and 58 hundredths times 10 to the first power. This 10 to the first power let me know I only have one set of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and write my decimal to make it big. So, let's look at the place value. What place value that 5 is in? I always tell you the first number behind the decimal is not a whole number, so therefore we can't say it's ones. What is it? It's tenth. So that's in the tenth. The 8 is in the hundredths. That 4 is in the ones, because it's in front. The 2 is a 10. Alright? So now, when you're multiplying a decimal by powers of 10, you shift your decimal to the right. So let's shift our decimal one time to the right because this is only one power of 10. 1/10. So that's 10 times 1, which is 10. So if I move my decimal once, you see here, my place value of my numbers are shift one time. So let's rewrite it. Now the 8 is in the 10th. It's behind the decimal. The 5 is in the ones. The 4 is in the tens. And the 2 is in the 100. Now I have 200, put my decimal, 245 and 8/10. Let's go over to this one. We have 379 and 47 hundredths times 10 to the second power. That 10 to the second power tells me it's different from that 10 times 1. It is 10 times 10, which equals 100. So I have two sets of 10. So therefore, I'm going to shift my decimal twice to the right. Alright? So let's write our first number into our place value chart. 4 is in the 10th. 7 is in the hundredths. 9 is in the ones. 7 is in the tens. And 3 is in the 100. Alright? Let's use a different color marker. So now, if I shift this decimal twice, because it's 10 to the second power, let's see where it's going to land up. 1, 2. Wow, it landed up behind all the numbers. So now I have 37,947. Let's place it in our place value chart. The 7 is in the what? Ones. 4 is in the tens. 9 is in the hundreds. 7 is in the thousands. 3 is in the 10,000. And I should have did a different color to let you see. So let me trace back over. 7, 4, 9, 7, 3. And we can put the decimal here and just cover up. But it does not change the number. It is 37,947. 37,947. All right. This is what we're talking about when you're talking about multiplying by powers of 10. We only have to shift our decimal to the right. Let's go over here to the next exercise. This is a word problem using a 10 by 10 grid. So let's see what it says. I purchased 4 cans of tomatoes. Each can hold 68 ounces. How many ounces of tomatoes did I buy? I know. You're going to say, Miss Sims, we don't eat tomatoes. We don't buy tomatoes. So let's change it. Let's make it fit to you. I purchased 4 bags of hot fries. Each bag holds 68 ounces. How many ounces of hot fries did I buy? Let's figure it out. So first of all, we're going to use the cube method of mathematics. We know cube is telling us to underline or to circle our key numbers. Circle our numbers. Our numbers are 4 and 6,800. Our next is to tell us to underline our question. What is our question? Our question is, how many ounces of hot fries did I buy? So let's underline that. The next one is we're going to box in our math action word. Each bag hold. Alright, so I boxed it in. Lastly, we're going to evaluate. We're looking at this. We know that we have 4 bags. We purchased 4 bags. So that's 4 bags of hot fries. Each bag holds 68. So we purchased 4 and 1 bag holds 68 ounces and we purchased 4. We know we must multiply times 68 hundredths. Alright, so now our last thing of cube method is to solve. Let's solve it using the grid. Okay? So I'm getting my crayons. So I need 4. This 4 tells me I have 4 groups of 68 hundredths. Again, this 4 indicates to me that I have 4 groups of 68 hundredths. So let's begin. We're going to use our 10 by 10 grids. You know in classroom I don't give you the grids. I want you to empower yourself by creating the grids yourself, knowing how to create a 10 by 10 grid. And you guys are remarkable when I'm creating your own 10 by 10 grids. But Miss Sims is cheating a little bit, so don't get mad at me. So let's do it. We need 4. Again, we need 4 groups of 68 hundredths. So the 6 is in the 10th, 8 is in the hundreds. This is 1/10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and I still need 8 hundredths. And that's 8 because there's 2 left will make a 10. So that's 800. So I got 100 of 1 6800. Now I need 3 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to leave these open spaces here. So I'm going to go back and fill them in. That's 2. And I need 4. That's 6, 7, 8. All right, so now I have 2 groups of 6,800. I'm not finished yet, so I need a third one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have 4 here. I'm going to fill them in. That's 400. So I need 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Block it off and just shade it in. Alright, so I have 3 groups of 6,800. Now I have to do the last group of 6,800. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I need that 800s. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And I need 2 more. If I'm looking at my 10 by 10 grids, I know that this is a hole. That's 1 hole. That is 2 holes. So we have 2 holes. So let's write that down. We have 2 holes. We know this over here is not a whole grid. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal. And we're going to count. We know that 1 strip is a tenth. So let's see how many tenths do we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tenths. And let's see how many hundreds. 1, 2. 200. All right, let's check and see if our traditional algorithm will match our grid. So we got 6,800 times 4 groups. So let's see. 8 times 4 is 32. Put down my 2. Carry my 3. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3. 25, 26, 27. Now, we know that when multiplying a decimal by a decimal or multiply a decimal by a whole number, we must count the total number of numbers behind the decimal. And then we move our decimal from right to left. There's only two numbers behind the decimal. That 4 here is a whole number. So we start from the right and we move it twice. 1, 2. Wow, look at this. 2 and 7200. 2 and 7200. That means our traditional algorithm matches our grid. All right, let's go to our next. Next we're going to do, I'm going to erase this because we're going to take and multiply a decimal by a decimal. And I'm erasing because I don't want you fussing at me. All right, so let's begin. There are 5/10 of a centimeter and 1 inch. How many inches are there in 8 centimeters? All right, you hear my husband's phone going off? Yes. All right, so let's begin. All right, so this tells me I need 5/10. And again, you know that one strip is a 10. So this is 1/10. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. How many inches are there in 8 centimeters? So now we need 8 more centimeters because we're building it right. We go length times width. All right. So that is 5. I'm gonna start from the bottom. 98, 1, 2, 8/10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now looking at this, you're like, okay, Miss Sims, what is that? You just made a whole bunch of mess. But actually I didn't, boys and girls. Let me show you. This piece that's overlapped right here is actually your product. So let's count it using the array method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5, which equals 40. All right, and we know, all right, so we know that's 40. But we know there's decimal here. How many decimals? There's 2. Even though our product is 40, we still have to move that decimal 2 places. So we start from the right, 1, 2, put the decimal, and I need to cover up. So now that's 4/10. All right, so if we do the traditional algorithm, we have 0.510 times 0 and 8/10. 8 times 5 is 40. I put down my 0, carry my 4. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. Put my placeholder because I'm moving from the 10th to the whole number. Even though it's a 0, I'm going to do it to show you. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Add it up, 0, 4, 0. Again, we got 2 numbers behind the decimal. As I said earlier, we start from the right and move to the left. So since we have 2 numbers, we move our decimal twice. 1, 2. Wow, look at that. Our number, our product matches our product of our grid. Lastly, no, not lastly, I have one more grid I want to do with you. So let's unveil this. All right. We have here, let's erase the other stuff. We have Megan. Everybody, you guys know Megan is my daughter. Megan Bird weighs 2.6 ounces. Her dog weighs 4 times as much as her bird. How much her dog weighs in ounces? So what can we do here to solve here? So again, this tells me what? I have 2 and 6 ounces her bird weight. Her dog weighs 4 times as much. So I have 4 of 2.6 ounces. So I need to go ahead and create that. I need to create 4 groups of 2.6. So instead of me using a whole bunch of grid, what I'm going to do is take this same problem. Instead of modeling it, we're going to use the traditional algorithm. So I got 2.6 times 4. 4 times 6 is what? 24. Carry my 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus the 2 I carry is 10. And there's only one number after the decimal, so I start from the right and I move only once. So I have 10 and 4/10. Now you kind of see 10 is my whole. So I mean I have the 10 grid. And that's the reason why I did not go ahead and use a grid with this problem. But I wanted to show you that even with the traditional algorithm, it still can be modeled on the grid. This will tell me I will have 10 holes and then 4/10. And I decided because I only have like 3, 6, 8 left, I knew I could not use this grid to solve this problem. Lastly, I want to show you one more thing, and that is using base 10 blocks. Okay? Normally we know this is a whole. That is 100 grid. So I'm going to ball it. That is 100. That will be my 10th. A 10th. And this will be my 100. And this is my whole. Alright, so let me get my problem. I'm going to do for you 2.4 times 2. So I have 2 holes of 2.4. So I have 2.4. 2 and 4/10. Let me say it correctly. 2 and 4/10. So I got 2 holes, which match that. 4/10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have 2. So what I could do here is I'm going to take and make another set because I have 2 of them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So look at it. How many holes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 holes. And let's see how many 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 10th. So let me rewrite it. I have 2.4 times 2 equals 4 and 8 10th. Let's do the traditional algorithm to see if we're correct with our model. 2 and 4/10 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. There's one number after the decimal, so I move. And I am correct. It is 4 and 8 tenths. All right. As I normally say in class, give yourself a round of applause. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to model for you a decimal times a decimal using base 10 blocks. Oh, I should have left you a little key, huh? Let's put it back. This is your whole. This is your 10th. And that is your 100. And this is your 10th. And this is your whole. Alright, so I'm going to peek and get my problem. My problem is 3 and 2/10 times 1 and 1/10. So you ready? So now I have, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You can't hardly see that, can you? So let me erase it. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 and 2/10. So this tells me I need 1 and 1/10. Alright, so I have here 3 and 2/10. So here I need 1 and 1/10. So that is already 1. Now that's a 10. I have to finish filling in my grid so it could be a square all the way around or a rectangle. Fill it in. Well, look at this. I cannot put another 10th here, but what I can put there is 100. All right, let's add it up. I have 1, 2, 3. 3 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 10. And 200. Let's do the traditional algorithm to see if we're correct. So 3 and 2/10 times 1 and 1/10. So 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Put my placeholder because I'm moving to another place value. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 2, 5, 3. Again, we're going to start from the right, and we're going to count how many numbers after the decimal. 1, 2. So we move it twice. 1, 2. 3 and 5200 is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy my lesson on multiplying decimal using place value, powers of 10, using grids, using traditional algorithm, and also using base 10 blocks. This is your teacher. Until next week, check out. Love you. Go outside and play. Bye.